Hi, and welcome to More Human, More Resources, the HR podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm Vicki Brown, your host and CEO of Vidamaneo Enterprises. As a serial entrepreneur, I understand that having the right expert help has been critical to my success. That's why I'm dedicated to telling you, in plain language, what's going on in the world of HR that might impact your business and what you need to do about it, with real actionable tips to help you master that list of must-dos and grow your leadership muscle. First things first, the information contained in this podcast is provided for general purposes only and is not to be considered legal advice. Your decision to adopt or not adopt any practice or procedure mentioned in this podcast is solely yours, and we bear no responsibility for the outcome. We urge you to always consult legal counsel and other appropriate licensed professionals. And with that, let's get into the show. You're listening to Season 3, Episode 32. Well, can you believe it? So far, we've covered staffing, employee classifications, background checks, setting up payroll, and compliance record keeping. We're in the home stretch. In this episode, we'll finish up with new hire and term documents and employee benefits. You're going to find yourself dealing with lots of forms and documents, but the ones you need most often are the documents that go in the new hire and termination packages. Let's start with the new hire package. First off, the offer letter. This lays out the elements of the offer: hire date, pay structure, position title, supervisor, and it serves as the confirmation of the offer. If the position is non-exempt, meaning eligible for overtime, you'll have to also complete and include the wage theft notice. Now keep in mind, this document is for non-exempt employees only. The package for exempt employees won't have the wage theft notice. The employment application is an important legal document. It gathers relevant information about the candidate and provides an overview of the company's hiring policies. And remember, asking for salary history, well, that's a no-no. Then there's the background check notices and authorizations. Now we get to the tax forms. There are two, one for the feds and one for the state. It's really important to have the employee complete both because each entity has their own withholding tables and categories. The I-9 form is next, and that's the federally required authorization to work in the U.S. All employees must complete this form on their first day of employment. You'll need a personal profile or something similar to collect important information on the candidate, such as emergency contacts, etc. And as a courtesy, include a listing of the current year's pay dates. The company's pay dates are also stated on the required employment posters, so this is an optional notice. It's also a nice idea to include the holiday schedule, the policy on PTO, such as vacation, sick, and personal days, and you should use this opportunity to give them a copy of the company handbook or personnel policy. Now, the next group of documents are required by the state of California. In addition to information on the paid family leave program, there's information on the specifics of workers' compensation rights in the time to hire pamphlet and details on California's disability program. And finally, notices outlining the rights for those who have been sexually harassed or are victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking are included. Now, if your workers' comp insurance company provides a medical provider network, or MPN, you must also include the MPN information. And it's a great time to distribute the Cal OSHA required Injury and Illness Prevention Program. And finally, don't forget the Affordable Care Act required Marketplace Notice. Now, I don't expect you to commit all this to memory. I'll have a special little gift for you in the show notes. Now, on to the termination package. You'll find there are far fewer documents in the termination package. You'll need a cover letter telling the person what is in the package, their final check, and yes, you have to pay them everything on termination. A change of relationship notice. They'll need this for filling out unemployment, and yes, it's required that you give it to them. And if they had benefits, there would be COBRA information. Now, hopefully, if your team is small enough, all the COBRA maintenance may run through the insurance carrier. But if you have 20 or more employees, you'll have to either do it in-house or contract with a company to administrate it for you. And speaking of benefits, one of the great ways to up your retention rate with your team is to offer benefits. First off, are you required to offer benefits to your employees? Well, if you have under 50 people, the answer is no. It's not a requirement. Now, while you aren't required to provide coverage, the fact is, in today's hyper-competitive environment for talent, medical insurance has become a given. And I think you'll find that as you're recruiting, the subject will come up over and over again. So, what are your options? Actually, there are only three. 1. Offer group coverage. 2. Let your employees get their own individual policies and you cover the costs. And 3. Don't offer anything. Now, we've already talked about how number 3 is a bad option, but surprisingly, option number 2 is the second worst alternative. That's because many times a company will say, oh, just give me a copy of your bill and your individual policy and we'll reimburse you for that amount. The problem with this approach is that the feds consider that money not a reimbursement, but taxable income. That's right. To them, it's just additional salary and has to be taxed on both the employee and employer side. You see, group plans have special protection under the IRS. That's why your employee can pay part of their premium out of their salary and it won't be taxable income to you or them. But paying for someone's individual policy, well, it's not protected. So it does have a tax load associated. Now, there is a way to reimburse employees for their individual policies without making that reimbursement taxable, but I'll leave that explanation to your broker. Oh, and by the way, what's a broker and how much do they cost? Well, I'm happy to say a broker is a licensed insurance agent that is a specialist in the benefits insurance area, just like your business insurance broker is an expert in business insurance. And again, just like your business insurance broker, your benefits broker won't cost you a thing. They're paid by commission from the insurance companies, so basically it's free expert advice and help. I always recommend getting a good broker as the first step in offering benefits. Sure, you can try to go it alone and do something online, but things can get really complicated really fast. It's always great to have a professional on your team, and they can answer employee questions as well. The what I call big three of insurance offerings are medical, dental, and vision. But there are loads of other options: long-term and short-term disability, life insurance, retirement plans, flexible spending accounts, transportation subsidies, health savings accounts, ID theft insurance, prepaid legal, even pet insurance. See, that's why you really do need a broker. They can help you plow through the thicket and make the right choices for your team. Now, keep in mind, this is just the low-hanging fruit. There are a myriad of other things to manage: employee reviews, salary planning, the employee handbook, safety and OSHA requirements, employment posters. Yeah, I know. The list is long. What can I say? Personally, I think you should get help. And of course, I think that help should be in the form of an expert HR consultancy like ours. But this isn't a sales pitch, so I'll just say, congratulations. You've taken on a lot, but I'm sure you can do it. It'll just take a touch of radical organization, and I absolutely suggest you take advantage of every available learning opportunity. Welcome to the party. If you found this information helpful, please leave a review and tell a friend. Thanks for spending the time. Until next week, same time, same place.